Hey YouTube, it's the Possum, and I was poking around through the news today trying to find a story that I want to talk about, and I found a few of them, a few stories that seemed worthy to talk about, but they're not really hitting me today. The stories aren't really hitting me hard, like I'm not really being inspired to share any thoughts on anything I've seen in the news today. And so what I want to talk about right now is news in general. And really, I get frustrated with reading the news because of a number of reasons. First is the topics that are covered. A lot of the topics I don't care about. I don't really care about what's happening to large corporations, such as the example I gave a couple of days ago, Starbucks, or some of these other companies. And it seems like that's really where a lot of the news is focused on these large companies. I don't know for sure, but I believe maybe this is part of their advertising, perhaps. I honestly don't know. It's not a topic I'm really knowledgeable on. Another thing I see a lot in the news is sports, and I do admit I do enjoy reading the sports stuff. And I like to read about any of really football or baseball. I couldn't sit through a whole baseball game. It'd be really boring for me. But football, yeah, I could watch a football game. It's interesting. But anyway, I don't really care too much about the sports, but I do like to read about sports, and also MMA fighting, or you got UFC or whatever, or maybe boxing, things like that. I do enjoy reading about sometimes. So the sports stuff I'm pretty cool with. Movies or entertainment, usually, no, I don't really care. And one thing that I get really frustrated with in the news is when a website will post an article about what some celebrity thinks about some issue. Because I don't care what they think, Well, I suppose I do, but maybe I do care, but I don't want to read about it when I'm trying to read the news. I want to read information, and sometimes that's hard to find. The next thing that I find sometimes in the news is that they always talk about the news really from one perspective, which of course, being from the United States, you hear a lot about it from perspective of the United States, and I would like to maybe hear these or read these or whatever. I like to get the news from different perspectives besides the perspective which I am most familiar, because I believe it's important to look at issues from other perspectives, and that sometimes doesn't happen. That bothers me. And some of the other stuff in the news, a lot of repetition. There's a lot of, they repeat a lot of the themes in the news. You always get, like, every couple of weeks you get some news story about someone doing something really good. It happens so often that, I don't even care anymore. I'm just so sick of reading it, and basically I'm just sick of watching the news, And I was talking to a colleague a couple of years ago, and she told me gets her news from, I believe she said, the New York Times. I can't remember. And yeah, maybe I should try find a different news source. But basically, as I commented on before in other videos, I don't trust the government. I don't trust a lot of what I read in the news, and I just get so frustrated because this is where I'm supposed to get information about what's going on around the world, and it's, by and large, really garbage, really. So, well, anyway, I guess that's all I have to say right now. So I'm going to stop here, and if I think of anything else to talk about later, I will maybe shoot another video. So that's it. Thanks for listening.